This sketchbook was made by Ucreate, and I don't actually use this kind much, but I have a friend who likes these, so I tried it out this time. In the end, I prefer Canson because it's better for colored pencils, but I'd recommend this one for marker use. I usually date the first and last page of my sketchbooks, and this one started in May of this year. This page is just where the marker bled from another drawing, which was a drawing of our friend's OC. And it isn't in the sketchbook anymore because I gave him the drawing. And if you've ever seen my D&D character Perra, this is her party. Made up of Rockro, the half-elf fighter, Tilki, the gnome bard, she's funny, Rayvok, the sassy tiefling ranger, and of course, Perra herself. This is some old concept art for Macy Loft, a redo of my Zelda AU Reviving Legends. She was going to have a sort of apocalypse prepper outfit before I decided on her current design. And this was another old design for her. Here's a plot outline for Reviving Legends, and if you've read the story, it's on Quotev if you want to. This is actually lined out exactly in one chapter where Ravi calls Macy and gives her instructions. Here's a failed sketch of a centaur, another failed centaur sketch, and the centaur I was actually trying to draw for both of those. Diamond Willow is a centaur warlock which belongs to a friend of mine. This was a concept of a potential cover for Reviving Legends that didn't get very far, but I still want to make a better cover somewhat like this. Here's some doodles from some of my original stories on Quotev. The top one is Reyna from Secrets and Threads, and the bottom is a symbol for the main villains in my MHAfic, The Winds of Change. Here's a concept sketch again, and this sketch became the villain Akui Nikushimi. He's the wolf villain of The Winds of Change. I did this drawing here while in church, listening to several sermons. I took parts of various trees and showed them sort of grafted onto a cross, which represents the church itself. This is an idea I had at one point for a sort of dragon wing cape. So I doodled the concept, but it never really got anywhere, but I couldn't get it out of my head. This is a template for a character ref sheet, and this is another friend's OC, Kate the Kitsune. I really tried to push the colors and ended up with a very Van Gogh-ish look, but I never finished that one hill. Here I drew April from the Ninja Turtles as a Shy Guy and Splinter as a Mauser, because I was in a room where it was on at the time. This is some art of a D&D character, Cadmus Streetclaw, and yeah, he's Ghibli, but it was still fun to mess around with him a bit. And here's a bit more art of him. This is an art fight attack I did while at a friend's house, featuring my Sanitized Inkling Undertow, Bushida, an Agent 8, and Rayleigh, who's cute. This is a sketch for another art fight attack, which became this drawing of Lychee the Rainwing and her boyfriend Singe the Skywing, just enjoying some kebabs together. And as you can see, it really bled, but that's fine. I noticed several inconsistencies in some of my drawings with these characters here, so I made a quick cheat sheet showing their relative heights and the details I most often forgot. This page is a color chart showing exactly which Prismacolors to use where, and that's for when I draw these characters traditionally. Even though their ref sheets are originally digital, I did think about which Prismacolors I have so I could draw them traditionally more easily. And this is another sermon drawing, a biblically accurate angel, yay! I mean, mostly, I just sort of drew various eyes, so it's kind of close. And this drawing starts what most of the sketchbook became, which was art for my D&D setting, the Parchdune Desert. I did some pieces for all the player races you could play as, and this one is a gold dragonkin, the same species as Cadmus from earlier. They tend to be scrappy and tough to survive. The northern dragonkin of this setting are sort of a result of silver and white dragonkin mixing into one thing. Think about like the hive wings and wings of fire. And yes, these guys are so ice wings. The red dragonkin are militaristic, living in the mountains east of the desert. And to the left, you can spot art of Fourflamer from Fool's Gold, which I highly recommend. Go watch it now. The black dragonkin are studious, and they live in a ruined city south of the desert. Green dragonkin are friendly nature lovers who live in the jungle beyond the eastern mountains. They're just friendly fellows. Blue dragonkin like and value strength, but in a friendly way, doing a lot of sparring and spearfishing and stuff like that by the desert's western coast. And this drawing was inspired by Mako Sonami from Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of course it was. I struggled a lot with the skin tone on the centaur. It didn't turn out too great. Centaurs are nomads here, traveling in bands that fight back against evil. In most D&D worlds, lizard folk live in swamps or jungles, but in the Parchdune Desert, they travel in small sibling groups and gather around the Hall of Bones, which you can see in the background of this image here. It's a sacred site for them. Tieflings live in this setting too, because honestly, who doesn't like tieflings? They are so cool. I also included fairies, but I made them tiny because fairies should be tiny. Why are fairies halfling size? No. This drawing is a creature called a theremin, and that comes from the Endling trilogy by Catherine Applegate. It's some of my favorite books, so I really love them. So I put them in the Parchdune Desert because I wanted to. This drawing is an Aarakocra, which is one of my favorite D&D races. I like how it turned out, especially the outfit, but I ended up scrapping Aarakocra from the setting eventually. Here we have a drow, because I read a few Driss novels and immediately fell in love with drow. This sketch didn't turn out very well, especially around the face, but here's what it became. So, this doodle is an Eladrin, which is a species of elf whose emotions are connected to the seasons. They're really cool. This sketch also was not great. It was just really lackluster, but it ended up becoming this drawing, a four-claimer, once again from Fool's Gold, their type of techno-elf, and I highly recommend the series. So cool. This one is a Goliath. Goliaths are descended from giants, so they're pretty buff. Legend says that the markings on a Goliath reveal their destiny when read properly. Kenku are normally raven people in D&D, but in the Parchdune Desert, they are based off of vultures instead. They're allied with the drow, and they're not very friendly, so you should probably avoid them if you can. This one was another doodle, just a fun one, where I inked a bunch of plants. And this is an owlin. They were originally going to be the resident, little guys, like goblins and stuff, and look like elf owls, but I ended up scrapping them or replacing them with someone else. I struggled a lot with this tabaxi here, going back and forth on whether I liked it or not really, and in the end I think it turned out alright, but it's not my favorite piece in here. This one is a Thrycreen, which is a type of bug person. And I wanted to give them a chance to shine a bit in this setting, since in my other D&D setting, they're the villains. They're kind of based off Hive Wings there. Yay. This one is an optical illusion, which was a warm-up for an art class. Another art class warm-up, this one was done with red Conte, which is a compressed form of charcoal. And turns out I don't like charcoal much, not a fan. This is yet another art class warm-up. A pear. Yes, it's just a pear. This page here started out as the same pear, but became random MHA sketches, Japanese food, and even a little dragon, because of course there's a dragon. I got really bored at some point. This is an actual person in my art class, drawn as a portraiture practice. I was pretty happy with it actually, it turned out nice. Remember how I struggled with that tabaxi earlier? Well, this was an attempt to fix it, but it actually turned out even worse. Oops. A friend asked me to make them an OC at one point, a Rainwing based on an Okapi. This is the same person who claimed Raccoon from the Hyper Challenge, so I tied their backstories together. Here's a master study of MC Escher with a dragon because of course there is a dragon. The observant among you may notice that these are Splatoon fellas. Yeah, I put Inklings and Octolings in the desert, with Inklings living by the coast, and Octolings in the Underdark, and yeah, my players laughed when they saw this. Too bad for them. I thought I'd finish this total drawing, but apparently it never went past line art. Oops. Here's another stab at Owlin from before I scrapped them. It's not great. This one is a silly little comic based on the flow of time, which is just a really great story. Just some shenaniganry with proof that I can't draw Midna from memory. I really wanted to draw some pointy ears, so I went a bit wild on this page here. The way I drew ears here is based on Dungeon Meshi, and it's my go-to for elf ears now. And here's a practice sketch for class. Again, one of the many spheres I've drawn in my life. I'm tired of spheres. Please let me draw something else. I was bored on this page again, so I drew a little satyr. He's kind of cute. And this, as I apparently titled, is a Virex bottle viewed from above, with a dragon or a Boros thing, because of course I drew that sort of thing again. These little guys here are Wubbox. They're from the same series as Darren's, the Endling trilogy, and they replaced Owlin in the Parchdune setting, becoming the resident little guys. And of course my party adopted one. Normal. This is an Endborn, an Enderman but D&D, and they value studying and magic. So they're allies with the Four Claimers, and those guys aren't actually evil. And they're also allies with the Black Dragonkin. And here's the last page of this sketchbook. Just some celebratory doodles, because, ending a sketchbook always feels bittersweet. Thanks for watching. Bye!